All right, guys, we're ready for our four-season sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh no, we'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh no, wait, a family hub.
Yeah!
No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons Sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal.
I, too, am America.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Opinion Nation. I'm Bryce Robbins. And today we're going to be having a special guest, hopefully, Rod Eccles. Now, we're just having some technical difficulties at the moment, but he should be with us soon. But in the meantime, Lou, you want to come on the show for a little while?
Hi, of course, yes. I have definitely different opinions, I think, than Rod, but sure, why not?
All right, so, I guess we were going to be talking about the Justice Department and their views on transgender bathrooms.
Yeah.
But Rod says that he's getting our VM right now, so I'll actually just play a clip, and then perhaps we can figure this out, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So, well, all right. So make sure he's calling the right number, and
all right. I'm gonna play a clip. It's from Obama on transgender bathroom debate. So this is from the Young Turks. So, little liberal swing. All right.
Okay.
A directive to public schools and states about whether or not they should allow people to use the bathrooms that they identify with. Now, this has to do specifically with public schools. And President Obama did release a statement that, you need to make sure that transgender students are not being discriminated against and they can use the bathroom that they identify with. Attorney General Loretta Lynch also released a statement saying there is no room in our schools for discrimination of any kind, including discrimination against transgender students on the basis of their sex. Now, it's important to keep in mind that the guidance does not impose any new legal requirements, but officials say it's meant to clarify expectations of school districts that do receive funding from the federal government. Now, here's where the story has a twist that drives me absolutely crazy. Now, some of the more conservative states, including Texas, don't want to abide by this directive. And they are willing to forego federal funds for public education in order to discriminate. In fact, in Texas, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said on Friday that the state was ready to forfeit federal education money, currently about $10 billion, rather than comply with the guidance. Well, that's not surprising because the state of Texas doesn't really care about public education and doesn't really care if they're going to lose funding for it. It's not like that's their number one priority. Their number one priority is the death penalty and making sure that they can discriminate. So, go Texas.
Yep.
In all fairness, I was going to say that Texas may be one of the states where not going to school makes more and then going to school. So maybe this is kind of an extra benefit.
It's a great point.
They tried to write Thomas Jefferson out of our history books. Not like he's a pivotal figure or anything. Not like he wrote the Declaration of Independence. They didn't like that he was too secular.
Yeah, right.
So if you don't,
they want to put in Calvin instead of him. Like their swap outs aren't even logical.
Yeah, they wanted to put in Phyllis Schlafly.
Oh, right, that's what it was. Right.
What? A conservative woman who killed the Equal Rights Amendment, right?
Yeah.
Whose son turned out to be gay, correct? And she was a big anti-gayer.
Yeah, so that
That's
level
so weird.
of detail, I
I
don't
would
know,
love
but
my mother.
you might know if you lived in Texas because she's on textbooks now. All right, right. But the guy who wrote the Declaration of Independence, but that's the thing about education. If it's inconvenient, you should edit it out.
Right.
When it comes to history.
But Jake, all these liberals, they're just trying to indoctrinate kids at college campuses throughout the country, But that's all it's about. Yeah, indoctrination, that's what that is.
So on the substance of the transgender bathrooms, we've been over how absurd it is, and we've been over the fact that, in fact, of course, if a transgender person walked in and they looked male and went into the female bathroom because they were forced to by these conservatives, because that's the gender they were born into, they would flip out. They'd be like, "Oh my God, there's a man in the bathroom!"
Right? Okay. So sorry, folks. So we are experiencing some technical difficulties between Rod and I. But the show must go on, so I will just begin talking about the issue that we're going to be talking about until we can figure out if he can call in or not. I really apologize for this, folks. Alright, so what we were going to be talking about today was transgender bathrooms, and then we were going to talk about the Muslim mayor of London. So the first thing we wanted to talk about was that transgenders coming into bathrooms, HB2 from North Carolina. The law is currently stating that you cannot use the bathroom unless you are that gender at birth. So the issue with this law is that it's inherently discriminatory against people who are transgender. Now, we can go under the assumptions here that transgender people are different, but it just makes no sense in today's society that we would discriminate against somebody because they were born different, right? Isn't that the whole point of our society, is that people who are born different, it doesn't really matter, but we get equal protection under the law. And if you look at the violence for transgenders, it is staggering. And I'm not talking about people pretending to be transgenders raping, little girls in bathrooms, as the right wing would have you believe. I'm talking about violence against transgenders. Now, there's statistics that suggest, according to the United States Justice Department, that up to 63% of transgenders have experienced bathroom violence. And there has been one case out of the 84,000 rapes in 2014 of somebody abusing a non-discriminatory ordinance.
Here we go.
Oh, hello, Rod. Are you on?
I am here.
Yay!
Perfect. All right. Well, then I guess we better just jump right in and get started then, because we've already wasted enough time. But I'm sorry about the technical difficulty, and I'm glad you're on today. How have you been?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So let's just jump right in. So first, I wanted to talk about transgender bathrooms, and then we're going to talk about the Muslim mayor, because that's just kind of how things started to flow, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
All right.
Right ahead.
So I've seen a lot of posts that you've put on your social media page about Target and how you are disgusted with Target and you don't want to shop at Target anymore. And I'm assuming that this is because of the bathrooms. Is that correct?
Evidently, Target has done a number of things of late that have made me rethink my position in shopping there, and really all these companies that want to try to jump on this feel-good type of bandwagon about the transgender issue, they've made a big deal out of something that should have never been made a big deal out of it, and I fully explained this before.
Okay, let me give you.
This is not as if this has not been an issue or people haven't gone down this route before.
Okay, let me give you a statistic here. So, apparently, according to the Justice Department, up to 63% of transgenders have felt violence or discrimination in the bathroom, specifically. This extends from high school to adulthood throughout their adult life.
Well, you gotta wonder why. Do you think by having some sort of store policy or some fiat that's unconstitutional coming from the administration that it's going to stop that?
Hang on, Rod. Hang on. they have felt this violence and discrimination in the bathrooms because they've been forced to go into bathrooms that they didn't feel comfortable with, that they, didn't identify with. Now, we see that there has been one case out of 84,000 rapes of 2014 was caused as a result
we don't hear about these cases.
These
One
are
reason
Justice
we don't hear
Department
about
statistics.
I love this when people try to pick and choose government stats. If you go into the government sites, first of all, a lot of times if you even ask police officers, and I know quite a few, both local and state troopers, and I even know 2 FBI agents. So I know how this stuff gets reported and how it gets twisted. Now, if you ask somebody about this, well, how do they classify it? There is no classification for transgender abuse. It is sexual abuse versus a male or a female. And let me tell you something. When you're going into the court system, they do not care if they go by what your birth is.
Rod, now let me tell you.
Unless a transgender goes the full boat, let me just say for a transgender female, unless that guy goes the full boat and has his penis transformed into a vagina, the court system is going to treat him like a him, and he's going to a male jail. So if the court system of this country has decided that you are a man, how is it that they're going to try to push upon our schools that you are going to be a female? There is no consistency there. So basically, when you look at these stupid results that you're talking about from the Justice Department, they're being mislabeled simply because the Justice Department, as they're being reported, does not look at them as a transgender. They look at them by their birth.
All right. That's not true, evidently, because they labeled an attack as a transgender person. So evidently
that's new. If they're doing that, that's new. Because I'm telling you right now, if all my cop friends and FBI guys are wrong, they're lying to me, all of them, no. This is how it's been reported before.
Okay, Rod,
so this new thing is new.
Rod, in 12 states that have, there's over 12 states and 200 cities that have non-discrimination ordinances. And in a lot of the states and cities where they tried to get these ordinances, the idea was that rape would increase, that, perverts would have easier access to bathrooms with little girls, and they'd be able to go rape them freely. Why can't why can't I right now dress up like a woman and go into a bathroom? Or why can't I just go into a bathroom regardless? How does an ordinance
That's not how society has been set up. And see, you just made the case right there. I thought this was supposed to be for people who actually identified, males who identify as being female, or women who identify as being male.
That wasn't my question.
The whole point is that, as I said before, we've been doing this for decades. There have been men going into women's bathrooms. Why? Because everybody actually thought that they were a female. There have been men going into females going into male bathrooms and getting away with it because we actually thought they were men. We had no reason to inspect their genitalia.
I'm going to hold
now what you're saying is you want to open this up to somebody that, like you just said, well, what happens if I just decide one day I'm going to identify as a female? That doesn't work.
Hang on. You're twisting the words there, and I'm going to hold you to an answer on this one. What stops me today? If there is if they don't let you pick and choose which bathroom you go into, what is to stop me from dressing up like a woman and going into a bathroom? If I'm a pervert, if I'm a sicko, what is going to stop me? Why is it now that transgenders are allowed to use which bathroom they want? Why is that going to increase? That seems like a hoax.
You could do something about it. Now what you're saying is that this person is going to be able to say, well, I identified as a female today, so now you can't do anything about it. See, there's two differences there that you're missing. And the other thing is that if you want to do this, why don't you just go ahead and say, okay, why don't we just have, because this has been the plan that has been offered, why not just have communal bathrooms? We just have 1 or 2 toilets per bathroom, and anybody can use those bathrooms. Smaller venues, smaller businesses have unisex bathrooms. So why not have everybody have a unisex bathroom? Because the left doesn't want that. They're trying to make an issue out of something that is not an issue. We're talking 0.04% of the population here.
So you would have a unisex bathroom? I mean, that seems to me to be fine. It's just a place to pee and shit. Right?
Yes. So why is that not that is not an acceptable answer to the LGBTQ PDQ community now? That's not an acceptable one.
No,
you got to now let a guy go into the female bathroom.
No, that's actually a perfectly acceptable answer because that's exactly what Target is doing. That's essentially unisex bathrooms.
No, they're not.
That's essentially what it is.
They're going to have to spend money redoing the bathrooms because they're not doing unisex bathrooms.
Oh, they're going to have to spend money redoing
what you're putting up there because there's no doors.
So what?
What are you going to you going to stand there? You're going to stand there and use it. A male is going to stand there and use it. Well, I'm sure most men are not going to feel all that uncomfortable having some lady in the bathroom watching them take a leak. The problem is it's the other way around.
Why are men inherently the perverts here? I don't get it. Like, why is it?
That's not pervert. Well, let me give you some statistics.
Please enlighten me on the fact that
Here are worldwide statistics. The vast majority of serial killers are white males. Why is that? I don't know.
Okay.
So if you're going to say why is the vast majority of perverts out there, why are they males? I don't know.
No, that's not what I meant.
We do know that there are a lot of female perverts. I don't think it's perverted because that's the way males are, to have women look at them. Guys are built that way.
Okay.
They like when women look at them.
But
that's
Rod, here's the issue.
Is.
We're talking about people who identify, who believe that their gender they were born incorrectly. They already are dealing with the struggles of their own life. And they have to go to a bathroom they don't feel comfortable with their entire life. Now, in high school, this could damage a child immensely, and we're telling them that they're different than they're wrong.
They've gone through this for years. Bryce, come on. Are you telling me that you guys, that the millennial generation is so feeble-minded that they can't handle a little bit of stress? Well, obviously not, because you guys need safe spaces.
Rod.
This is way out of hand. This is way out of hand, Bryce. It really is.
Do you know any transgender people?
Do I? Actually, yes. I know gay people. I know straight people. I know the whole gamut. So why is it? Let me ask you this. Why do we keep adding? No, let me ask you. Why do we keep adding on to the LGBT title? Now we've got queer and questioning. What exactly is queer? Nobody can give me an answer on that. Not even the gay community. So we keep adding this stuff simply to placate somebody's feelings.
Rod.
Well, grow up. Everybody needs to grow up. Your feelings are not that important when it comes to the grand scheme of civilization. It never has been.
Rod,
and it never will be.
First of all, you said that, and I'm going to hold you to your quote here, that people need to learn to deal with a little bit of stress here. I can play the tape back again. Telling somebody who identifies as the opposite sex having to go into a bathroom that they have been bullied in, that they do not identify with, is not a little bit of stress. That's not being late on your research paper. That is psychological damage that you cannot undo.
You forget you're talking to a black guy here.
I'm aware.
I can't change my identity.
And nobody's asking you. Why are you?
But let me finish.
So why are you asking?
Don't give me this crap about somebody cannot take the stress of being teased or harassed because they're a boy who thinks they're a girl. That's a bunch of BS.
Rod, so then why are you, if you can't change yourself, like you just said, why are you asking somebody who's transgender to change themselves?
There's no such thing as transgender. You know what I heard the other day?
There's no such thing as transgender. I know transgender.
No, this is where this is going. You are, look, there are medical conditions. There are a rare number of human beings that are actually born with all three chromosomes, the XXY. I do believe they call them hermaphrodites. Yes, they've got a medical problem and condition that has to be solved. And usually parents try to solve it early on. These kids who are born male but all of a sudden feel female, or the opposite, born female and all of a sudden feel male, they have a mental disorder. Now, here's the problem. See, you got this post-surgery transgender issue that nobody wants to talk about. The suicide rate for post-operative gender changers is much higher, 3 times the rate than pre. So obviously, that's not making them happy.
Rod, Or is it the fact that we live in a society that is repressing people based on who they are truly?
If you change into a female, Bryce, and nobody knows that you're a male, how is that repressing you? You're going into the female bathroom. Nobody knows. You add if nobody knew that Bruce Caitlyn Jenner was
a minute ago, you just said they don't exist. You literally.
If nobody knew, if you walked into the bathroom and saw Caitlyn Jenner, and you did not know that was Caitlyn, would you really know that was a man? Most of us would not know.
Yes, and that's perfectly fine. So I don't get it. So are you inspecting her penis? Like, how would you know that she's a man? Because she still has a penis.
That's what I said, Bryce. They've been doing this for decades, for centuries. Well, it can't be centuries because we've only had public restrooms for a century or so. But they've been doing.
I don't get why the right wing will make this a problem.
If they look like a woman or they look like a man, then what was the issue? There was no issue. The issue came when somebody said, well, they don't quite look like a girl. They look like a guy, but they want to go into the girl's bathroom. That's when everybody said no. No, no, no. They didn't say no to Caitlyn Jenner. To somebody like Caitlyn Jenner. They did not say no because that's been going. We all know that's been going on. And if you don't know that that's been going on, then you've been living under a rock.
Okay, so then let me ask you this part. Because I know many transgender youth, right? Kids of my age, younger, who are transgender, who
they have no idea what they are. They're 10 years old, for crying out loud.
You are out of your mind if you believe that. Now, I'll continue.
No, I'm just going back through history and telling you they don't know.
No, you were born that way. You do not choose to
that
be
they
that
will
way.
make for the rest of their life, and you're telling me that somebody who's prepubescent is going to know whether they're a boy or a girl, masculine or feminine. Yeah. That is a bunch of bunk.
No. You know when you're little whether you're not you like boys or girls.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
You don't know. You don't know. That's why half of them are so confused when they get older. That's why when they actually go through with the surgery, they think it's going to make them happy. They're 3 times more likely to commit suicide.
Right, Rick. Rod, that is a crock of shit because I know people personally.
That's not a crock of shit. Those are statistical stats. You want to talk about stats from the DOJ? Those are mental stats.
Your
statistics,
Rod. Your statistics,
Rod. Higher.
Rod, your statistics,
higher.
Rod, your statistics on suicide are correct, and that is a problem of mental health that we need to deal with urgently. But what you are incorrect about...
why is it a mental health problem after they do it?
Rod,
why is it a mental health problem after?
Okay, what you are
Why
incorrect
is it a mental health problem after? Why is it a mental health problem before? It's not a mental... You know what?
What you are
I have
incorrect...
actually been to a counseling... I have a friend. I've actually been to a counseling session.
Okay.
Because they're supposed to go through counseling before, and this was about 10 years ago. They're supposed to go through counseling if they want to go through this sex change. Now, what she did is she went to a counseling session. In order before she went through the surgery. Now, she was going to have top surgery done. They've got to take hormones, and they got to go through all this counseling session. Let me tell you, there was no counseling there. I sat through 2 sessions with her, and all it was a cheerleading session. Not once did the therapist try to get to the point of why she felt like she was now a guy and not a girl.
I gotta get back
to
the point.
Like it was all about her feeling. Say if you feel this way, fine.
Rod, we gotta get back to the point about what you were just talking about before, because I gotta hold you to what you just said. You said that they don't know what they are because they're too young. They don't know what they are. Whatever. I know people personally who are already in the push to become the opposite gender. I know one person who already is changing in the boys' locker room. I know somebody who uses the female bathroom. And the fact of the matter is they are now embracing who they are. I also know somebody personally who struggles between their repressive religion at home and who they are in public, in school. And the fact of the matter
there's the rub. There's the rub. It's repressive religion.
Yes.
That's the problem. Because these kids don't know who they are. They confused as hell, and people are encouraging them to remain confused. And let me tell you something. 2 out of 3 of them, by the time you get to be 30 years old, they will have killed themselves.
Yeah,
Those are the stats.
And isn't that terrible, Rod? You're living...
And I'm talking about after, post-surgery, Bryce. That is terrible. What we're doing to people is we're signing their death sentence. Instead of really helping them, we're signing their death sentence.
Right, by letting them use the bathroom they want, by letting them be who they are, we're signing their death sentence. That makes sense.
Obviously, they're not. If they kill themselves, they obviously aren't happy with what they've become or what they've chosen to be.
Rob, the fact of the matter is that you have provided no evidence at all to the claim.
I just told you what the evidence is, and you disagreed with me.
No,
you got people that are more like 3 times more likely to commit suicide after post surgery.
But why?
So that means that well, I don't know.
Well,
look at Caitlyn Jenner. I just mentioned to you before. How is it that if you look like something and nobody knows any different, how is it that you're not happy?
Okay, we got to get back to the topic for the last couple minutes.
You're still so despondent that you end up killing yourself.
We got to get back to the topic.
How is that?
Okay, here's the last things
that is the topic. What you're doing to a 10-year-old kid is you're saying to them, okay, well, today you think that you're saying to a 10-year-old little boy, okay, today you think you're a girl. Fine. We're going to dress you up and put you on dresses, and we're going to teach you how to do makeup. So by the time you get into high school, you look like a freak. Let's face it, you do.
Right, you look like.
And then you're going to say, "Well, I'm going to go through surgery because I believe I'm a girl." And then you get to the point where you get the surgery. You get the surgery. So now most people who did not know you before don't even know that you were ever male. Everybody, you look like a female. You take the female hormones. You sound like a female. Everybody thinks you're female, and yet you're still not happy. Why is that?
Rod, the idea that
I thought you would be happy being a girl.
Crazy. Rod, the idea that you just stated that you will look like a freak is crazy, first of all. Second of all...
It is.
Well,
by today's societal standards, you look like, you know what? You look like a freak if you walked around dressed like a 17th century Frenchman. That's not today's standards.
You're equating somebody being, or trying to come out to who they are to a repressive society, to a 17th century prince? That makes no sense.
No, I'm using that as an example. If you are a boy and you're walking around wearing makeup when boys in this society do not wear makeup the way they're wearing makeup, you look like a freak.
So why
I'm not
must we
going to pull
ourselves
on
to
it.
society?
You look like a freak. You've got a problem. You've got a mental problem. People can say that, you can go ahead and try to say that I'm being mean and hateful. No. Yeah. The world is much more mean and hateful than I am. There are bad people and there are good people. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. There's no gray. There's right and wrong. Period.
Oh, there's right and wrong, right, and right.
Yes,
right.
And everybody thinks it's, no, there's got to be gray. There's got to be, no, there doesn't have to be.
Okay. No, because
science is
that
right
makes
and
no
wrong.
sense.
Either you got it right or you don't got it right. There's no middle ground.
Okay. All right, well, the fact of the matter is that we have a growing issue in society of violence against
transgenders. Actually, we don't. We still have, it's the same amount of population.
No,
it's not a growing issue. It's a growing issue because the left is making it an issue all of a sudden.
Because these people are finally coming out.
No issue.
Rod, these people are finally coming out saying who they are. And they're saying that we will not be repressed by our society anymore, and we do not have to conform to our society's standards anymore that you keep perpetuating. If you think that the standards of society
are so wrong, yes, right. No.
So wrong,
you think it's our society standards. No, Bryce, it's not our society standards. It's mankind's historical standards since the dawn of civilization.
Right, okay.
So what you want to do then is you want to change the entire history of man. So every time that people have gotten freaky and freaked out, those civilizations have collapsed. So thank you for wanting to destroy current civilization the way those ancient civilizations went when they went freaky.
Freaky, right?
You can't do that kind of stuff.
The bathroom they want is so freaky. I can't stand it.
It's not about that. The whole thing is that there is a norm, there is a right, and there is a wrong. There's a norm and there's an abnorm. And when you start to blur the lines, then anything goes. And if anything goes, then you end up with anarchy. Now, I realize that the millennials seem to think that they like anarchy.
We gotta go to break.
Anarchy never works.
Rod, we got to go to break. But when we come back, we can talk about the Muslim mayor of London because this issue is not getting resolved right now. So, for now, I'm Bryce Robbins. I'm here with Rod Eccles. We've just been debating transgender bathrooms. When we get back, we'll be talking about the Muslim mayor of London.
attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
All right, welcome back. I'm Bryce Robbins, and I'm joined today by Rod Eccles, host of The Rod Eccles Show. And today we were talking about transgenders in society and the bathrooms and all of that jazz. And now we're going to move on and talk about another interesting topic that's been pressing in the news, and I gotta ask Rod about it because I got into quite a debate with some of the people on his page about it. The Muslim mayor of London, Saqib Khan. So, Rod, please, tell me your views. What do you think about a Muslim man taking the oath of office as the mayor of London?
Well, the people of London, for whatever reason, elected this man, so that's up to the people of London.
What do you mean for whatever reason? What do you mean by that?
Whatever reason I don't know the reason that they elected him. It would seem to me, look, Islam is not compatible with Western culture. It's not compatible. Okay. Just about everybody understands that.
No, I don't.
It's not compatible. It never has been compatible.
In what way?
In that they do not believe the same thing that we believe. They believe in Sharia law. There is no freedom. There is no freedom of religion. There's no freedom of thought.
He does not believe in Sharia law in any sense. He's actually denounced Sharia law.
I understand that he's done that, but at the same time, he's upheld some tenets of it. So when people talk about or against Islam, he is on record as being on a Sharia side, as handling them Sharia law-like. They need to be punished.
Would have to hear a specific example of that, but I've never heard that. But let me ask you this.
Again, I'm not there in London, so I don't know. This is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
Right? But I'm saying is that if they want to elect a Muslim as their mayor, then they have to be able to accept the ideas that he's going to bring along, even if he's not full Sharia. Which if anybody actually bothers to read the tenets of Islam, with both sects, because you've got the Shiites and the Shia, Iran and Saudi Arabia on the opposite sides of this thing. Sunni, excuse me. Yes, they're on opposite. They would appear to be on opposite sides of Islam, but they both pretty much read Islam as the same. Now, if you read the Quran and you follow it, you cannot possibly say if somebody. See, in Islam, you don't have the choice to be like Christians. Christians have a choice to be, how can I say, less than fully biblical and still be construed as a Christian. And nothing's going to happen to them. See, that doesn't work in Islam.
Why not?
You can't get away with it because they don't let you get away with it.
Okay,
now, maybe because they're now here in the United States, they can get away with that a little bit. But we look at the West, or Western Europe, and what's going on in Western Europe, and we see that they're not getting away with being less than full Islam.
Okay.
Plain and simple. Now, if they want that, that's fine.
Would you vote for somebody or not vote for somebody because of their religion? Would you not vote for, this man because he is a Muslim?
I would not vote for an Islamic person in this country. No.
Why
I
not?
would not knowingly vote for somebody because Islam is not compatible with the Constitution.
But isn't that... You wouldn't vote for somebody because they are Muslim. Isn't that like someone saying, I would not vote for Obama because he's black?
No.
Why?
Obama doesn't have a choice of being black. You have a choice of following a religion or not.
And as we've already established...
Look, there are a lot of people that don't vote for Republicans. Why? Because Republicans are supposedly these backwater, hard-nosed Christians. What's the difference? Why is it okay that the left cannot vote for somebody because he's a Republican Christian, but it's not okay for a Christian not to vote for a Muslim?
I don't really see it that way. I think that the hardline...
Of course you don't see it that way because you're on the left. This happens every single day. This is happening right now. Nobody on the left is going to vote for... Nobody liked Ted Cruz on the left. Why? Because he was a fundamentalist Christian. Oh, he was too hard-nosed Christian.
No,
he was too much of a Christian. He preached the Bible too much. Well, what the heck do you think an Islamist is going to do?
God, he was nuts, first of all. Second of all, let's look at...
So are most of the Muslims that run. They're nuts, too. But I don't hear the left... I don't hear the left condemning Islam at all.
Rod.
Islam is not... Now, you just talked about your wonderful buddies who are transgender and who are gay, some of which are my friends, too. I get that. But you know what? There isn't a single Christian country or single Christian sect across this planet that is throwing gay people off of 8-story buildings, that's beheading them. But yet you're going to tell me that it is bad for me to decide, based on this guy's religion that is not compatible with the U.S. Constitution, who is willing to throw a gay person off an 8-story building or hang them just for being gay or just for even thinking about sodomy.
Rod,
no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, Bryce. That is hypocritical to its highest.
First of all, that is extremists, and every religion has its extremists.
That's not extremists. That's normal.
Rod, there are Buddhists.
You guys need to understand this.
Rod,
you know what?
You have the
problem is, Bryce, I'm going to tell you this. You are a nice young man, but the problem is that you have not lived.
Right.
I have been to these countries like that. I know. I've lived there. I know how they are. It is not extremist.
Which countries?
And this whole notion that we can sit back at being fat, dumb, and happy in this country and then look over there and say it's extremist,
so much more than
because that's what we are. We're fat, dumb, and happy.
Which countries
have helped you live? Over there. That is normal.
Which countries have you been to that helped you live?
I have been to Spain, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Crete. I've been there when Turkey and Greece were fighting over Crete.
Right, and...
I have gone to school with 2 armed guards trying to protect a bunch of 3rd and 4th graders.
Okay,
on a military bus.
Where
don't
is
tell
the part
me
about Muslim extremists?
You don't think that the whole notion of the fighting over Crete was not about Christian versus Orthodox Christian versus Muslim? That's exactly what that island was being fought over.
Where
it's extremum. It's extremism. See, you are so young, and your listeners are so young. Millennials, you guys have not lived. You have not experienced it. You have not been face to face with somebody who hates you just because of who you are.
Rod, I detest the notion that my age disqualifies me from understanding a blatant issue of discrimination.
It's called wisdom, and wisdom comes with age, so it does disqualify
you are not a
to a
wise
certain
person
extent
if that's what you
things.
believe. Because let me tell you,
I'm telling you,
there are Muslim people in this world.
What
Go
you have
to
experienced in your 18 years is nothing.
Rod,
nothing.
Yeah, well, it's only been 17 for now, but maybe 18 will bring me all this wisdom. But
I thought you turned 18. But anyway,
sorry. Let's go to Indonesia. Let's go to India, where Muslims live. Right? Let's go to all these places where Muslims live. Let's talk to the
let's go to India, where they're fighting Pakistan constantly. India, where there are Indians from India here that can't stand Muslims.
Yeah,
Let's talk about some Sikh. Let me talk to you about my Sikh neighbor who is willing to go back to India to pick up arms against Muslims. I guess he doesn't know anything either. He doesn't believe that they're extremists either.
So is Prime Minister Modi, who has led a slaughter massacre on them. But let's talk about the the Muslims in Indonesia. Let's talk about them in Turkey. Let's talk about them all over the place that live, Syrian refugees, live perfectly normal lives. I know so many Muslims who live perfectly normal lives that aren't trying to, kill me because I'm a Jew or kill me because I'm a Westerner. It's disgusting to assert that, this is just like the same argument they said during World War II. The Jews are going to come here and they're going to bring communism and socialism, so we got to kick them out. And that's the same type of right-wing shit we're hearing today.
No, they were talking about Germans, and they were talking about communists. They were talking about Germans. No, Bryce, they weren't.
They were talking about
They weren't talking about the Jew.
They were talking.
Well, you do have some people who are anti-Zionist. You're right. There are some people like that. But frankly, they were not talking about the Jew. They were not talking about the Jew being communist. They were afraid of the communists. The Jew was afraid of communism. Everybody thought, well, maybe we should just send the Jews back to their homeland called Israel.
Right. Well,
that was a good idea. They all could go back if they wanted to.
Tell that to
we
the
didn't
Jews
kick anybody out.
Back to Germany because they got 1/3 of them all got slaughtered because we didn't take them in. What happened to the idea of you're poor, you're sick, you're tired, you're hungry, we'll take them in? That idea has been thrown out the window because of the right-wing rhetoric we hear about how Muslims are bad, Muslims are evil. Muslims are not evil.
It does not mean that you take in people who are Muslim. Let me tell you something. Back during World War II, we didn't take in Germans. Why? Because you don't take in your enemy. You don't take in somebody who wants to kill you.
Islam is not.
And you cannot figure out who does and who doesn't. We've had a number of refugees who have turned against this country. Let me give you a perfect example right here in Boston. 3 years ago, it's called the Boston Marathon bombing. What were the Sinai brothers and their mother? They were refugees.
Right.
What did they do? They bombed and killed and maimed dozens of people. What did their mom do? Their mom stood by those two killers and said that they were good, innocent boys, and it wasn't their fault.
Rod,
and that they should be let go.
They actually grew up.
It doesn't.
Rod,
they grew up in and around Boston.
Rod, they grew up in an American society. They grew up in American schools. They grew up Western children. They were converted to radical Islam.
They did not grow up Western
How
children.
are you going to tell me
Even though they were here, they
was
were
on the
raised in their home. They were raised. Have you ever seen their mom? Are you telling me that she raised her kids dressed like that, acting like that, believing like that as a Western
she wears
kid?
a hijab.
No, she didn't. She didn't.
She covers her head. I mean, it's ridiculous.
See, the problem is that it is very difficult for me to go ahead and say what is going on in California. It is very difficult for me to say, okay, well, this is how they were in New Bernardino, California, because I don't live there.
Right,
I don't know.
Over 1 billion Muslims.
But I can tell you this, because I live here, I know more than what most people know because we live here of what happened on that day 3 years ago. Now, I cannot tell you what exactly happened and how it got to that point in Bernardino because I wasn't there. I don't live there. I can only go by the news. But I can figure out and find out and ask questions and know a hell of a lot more because I live here and pay attention to it and see it with my own eyes. And what you have heard, because that's just the proof, you have no idea what you're talking about. They were not raised Western.
Do you acknowledge that the FBI has stated that 94% of terrorist attacks carried out in the United States are from non-Muslims? From 1980 to 2005?
Do you realize that they've reclassified the term terrorism 3 times?
Rod.
In 7 years? Do you realize that?
Terrorist attacks.
Do you realize that? Do you realize they've reclassified the term
irrelevant.
terrorism?
That is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that they were not Muslim. We can
no,
go a
the matter of fact is that if you went by the original definition of terrorism, you'd have less acts committed by non-Muslims. Now, I'm not saying that just because You walk into a store and you shoot somebody. That's not necessarily terrorism, but that's because they've relabeled it. That is now labeled terrorism. Sorry, it's called murder. Plain and simple.
Let me give you another...
So relabel it so you can say now, well, geez, the vast majority of all the terrorism that happens in this country is from non-Muslims. Well, that's possible when you relabel and redefine what terrorism is. Sure, go ahead.
Rod, let me give you this quote. There have been 140,000 terror attacks committed worldwide since 1970. And to assume that, and this is an absurd statement, but even if Muslims carried out all of these attacks, every single one, let's just say they did hypothetically, this would represent less than 0.0000009% of all Muslims. So we are going to group all the Muslims in the world and say that they are the enemy, that we won't vote for them, that we won't let them come to office.
You know what? We've already done that before. We've done it before. Why do you think this is different? And I'm not talking Muslim.
What are you talking about?
Because you can't tell the difference right now. You don't know which ones are good. Let me ask you this. Why is it that you got females staying back in war-torn countries like Syria, holding up guns, and you got military-aged males who are fleeing to Western Europe? There's something wrong there. You see, we used to hold this whole notion during the Cold War, and this is why I say you haven't lived, because you don't obviously know about the Cold War either.
Right, I know. I've never been to school. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry about your educational system. We really screwed you guys over because you're not learning jack. Because the Cold War, we took the communists and we lumped them all together. Why? Because we don't know the good. There's even a TV program about that right now, isn't there? About undercover agents from the Soviet Union.
Yeah,
that are acting like they're American. Well, see, we understood that we didn't know who the good ones versus the bad ones were.
There were good communists that we were fighting. That doesn't even make sense. We were fighting an ideology of communism. We're not fighting.
We're fighting the ideology
of extremist
Islam.
Of extremist
Islam. Period. And until you understand that is the religion, Bryce. That is the religion.
No,
communism is a religion. All right, communism, like humanism, is a religion to these people.
Rod,
plain and simple. You are fighting something that you cannot fight. If you're going to say it's an idea or it's idealism, well, that means it's even tougher to fight.
So why don't we?
But it does not mean you lay down your arms and do nothing about it.
Against the Christians, the KKK, the neo-Nazis. Why don't we go to war on them?
I don't know why. I tell you why. Because they were groups that were created by the Democrat Party.
Right, all the Democrats.
And they're still run by Democrats.
Right, all the Democrats who became Republicans, and all the Republicans who became Democrats.
No. You know what? I have asked this question before. I've even looked. I'm not saying that there aren't racists in the Republican Party because there are. But you know what? The Republicans don't have a Grand Cyclops or Kliegel.
Wait, that's the most ridiculous argument, Rod. We all can identify.
Really? So you think that Robert Byrd, who was a Grand Kliegel in the KKK, is a ridiculous notion?
No, Rod, that's not what I said.
All right. Rod? So they didn't all run over to the Republican Party in the 1960s.
Rod?
That is a falsehood that has been told over and over again, and now everybody believes it's true. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you who knows where the racists are. And I have no idea why the black community. I do know why the black community still votes for Democrats, because they give them the handout. The Republicans want to cut off the money supply. I get that.
Right, and then they want to funnel it to the military because we need to fight all the Muslim bastards.
Who goes to the military?
No, I'm saying all
we
Republicans say we
don't have anybody in the military anymore. We got the smallest military we've had since World War II. There's nobody in the military now.
Yeah, no, totally. It's not like technology has increased and we don't need as many troops anymore, but that's beside the point.
Oh, no. You see, there again, you're taking something and thinking that you're...
It's not like our military is the size of the next 14 militaries.
Our military still has the most advanced equipment on the planet. Right. You're right.
Yeah.
We do. However, our enemies are not back in the Stone Age. Russia and China haven't been sitting still. They have stuff that's almost as comparable to what we have. In fact, when it comes to submarines, they have a silent submarine that we can't track, and we don't have one.
Guys, Rod apparently knows the U.S. military secrets, and he's informing us that the United States military is dying off because we're cutting back on troops. That doesn't make any sense at all, Rod. Let's be real.
Well, yeah, it does. When you get to the point where you have less than 300 ships, when you have the smallest active navy since World War One.
No, you know when this country dies.
Your enemy is quickly building a very fast, modern navy to be the world's largest navy. Talking about China, and your old enemy, who you thought was dead and gone, Soviet Union, now Russia, is all of a sudden coming up with all of this equipment that rivals ours. And and they're building up, and we're not.
Okay.
You want to tell me I'm saying that we're killing off our military?
No.
That when you have a president,
Rod.
when you have a president who says by the year 2018 we're going to have only about 400,000 soldiers. Now you tell me when you go up against the world's largest air force and the world's largest army with more than 1 million soldiers, that 400,000 is going to be able to stand up against them.
Right.
You see, there's this wonderful thing called technology. Great, but you see, our planes can take down five of theirs for every one of ours. The problem is that 6 planes, and they've got more than enough. We can't do 1 for 10. We can do 1 for 5, but we can't do 1 for 10. And right now, according to the military, they're at 1 for 9 and building. We're not. If we actually wanted that F-22 back again, we wanted to build it, do you know how soon we can get the first plane? The first new plane? 2021.
Okay.
That new destroyer that we just built, it cost $4.4 billion.
Yeah,
do you know how long it's going to take to get another one?
How long?
If that happens to get sunk, do you know how long it's going to take to get another one just like that? 7 years, Bryce.
Oh, gosh. Did you know that the USS Zumwalt is a failure, that it flips over during big waves?
What flips over?
The USS Zumwalt, the ship that you're talking about, the one that we spent $4.4 billion on. And they're actually, I don't know where you got these statistics from, because they're building 4 more over the next 3 years or something like that. And
it's like an aircraft carrier. How long do you think it takes to build an aircraft carrier? It takes more than 3 years. It takes 5 years to build one.
Carrier.
New modern. I know it's not an aircraft carrier, but I'm telling you, for that, do you realize that thing was supposedly finished a year ago, but the Navy hasn't taken charge of it yet?
Rod, China has,
it's been 6 years, right? It's been 6 years.
We have
6.
So many of them. We have 13 aircraft carriers. They have 3. But that's besides the point.
We don't.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You know how many aircraft carriers we have?
How many?
We have 6.
I remember reading 13, but okay.
No. Do you know why we have 6?
Why do we have 6?
Because another 6 are currently in dock being repaired, called maintenance and repair. They're not battle ready.
Good.
They're not battle ready. So we have 6. In fact, for the first time, we're in the Middle East. We have such a gap in our coverage around the world that we've had to ask our allies to cover places that we should normally cover. Now, it's great to get our allies to start pitching in, too. I agree. They should pay more. They should help pay more of the bill. But it's pretty damn bad that you have to get them to pitch in to pay more simply because your stuff is in mothballs being repaired.
Rod, did you know that we spend $692 billion as our military expenditure, and China spends $100 billion? Now, we're kind of getting...
No, you're wrong in that, too. I know this happens all the time.
No, I'm not.
First of all, China is a communist, secretive regime.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks, and you ask any military brass, if that's all they're spending. And they'll look at you and tell you, with what they're building currently, it's impossible that that's all they're spending.
So you know the secrets behind the Chinese military budget, and you also know the secrets, but you don't know...
No, I just listen and I read the people who are supposed to know.
But you don't know that the United States military is building its own stuff? All right, Rod, we're getting off topic.
I listen to everybody.
I want to get back to the topic about Muslims.
That is the problem. You only listen to people that you agree with. I listen to everybody.
Good, I'm glad. And I want to get back to Muslims for the last 2 minutes of the show because we got way off topic, and I would love to have this conversation another time. But I want to get back to the topic about Muslims. And I want to give you this statistic for the last pretty much question of the show. There are 1.4 billion Muslims in the world. Of that, there are about estimated 50 to 90 million could potentially be extremists in war-torn areas. The notion that, and that is a recent statistic, actually from the Justice Department as well from 2015. Now, the United States and Western countries have been interfering in the Middle East for ages. We destroyed the Iranian prime minister who was democratically elected, Mohammad Mossadegh, in 1963. We've done, awful atrocities, the Western world, to the Middle East. We have desecrated them. And now we are fighting an enemy that I believe we've created. My question
again, no, we haven't. You go back 200 years of Thomas. Go back 200 years of Thomas Jefferson. It's called the Barbary Wars. What did we do to them then? Absolutely nothing. What were they doing to us? Attacking our ships, pirating them, sinking them, and killing Americans as well as other Western Europeans. We didn't do a damn thing to them. We had to go to war with them to stop them. Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah,
not
and
us.
He did the same thing to the British.
Don't tell me that we have done all these terrible things. Oh yes, we forgot. Back in the day, just as Islam was getting started, what happened to the Middle East? Oh, it was all of those hordes from Muhammad himself running across the Middle East, attacking, decimating, and killing everybody. And yet you're going to stand there and tell me that we have decimated them. Sure, we've made mistakes in the Middle East. Sure, we have done some stupid things over there, meddled where we shouldn't have meddled. But let me tell you something. We didn't start it.
We didn't start it, right.
No. History shows we didn't start it.
Right. Okay. No,
so
we
what
didn't
are we
start
supposed to do?
So
are we supposed to do nothing about it? And as far as those 50 million, let me just go with the low number, 50 million out of 1.4 billion. You want to roll that dice every single time you let somebody in, and hopefully that not one of those 50 million is in that group?
Right.
Because they can do a hell of a lot of damage if you let them in. And they've done so.
Okay. Right, because in Canada they're experiencing such terrorism right now after letting in 20,000.
Yeah, such terrorism that Trudeau himself has said is that if you're between the ages of 18 and 25, you don't get into Canada anymore.
Right. Interesting. Well,
go look it up. Canada. You cannot. If you're a young male Muslim, you can't get into Canada now.
Because they're trying to make more room for women and children?
Oh, they're trying to make more room for women and children.
Because they're the ones to come first.
So if we don't let in those 18 to 25-year-olds, then it's not that we're trying to make more room for women and children. We're just being mean and nasty because we hate Muslims.
All right. All right. Well, Rod, this has been a great episode, and we're obviously going to continue the fight another date in the future. And just let everybody know where they can find you.
Sure. Everybody can go to rodeccles.net and they can tune into the Rod Eccles Show 9 to noon, Monday through Friday.
All right, Rod, thank you, and I can't wait to continue the debate another time. But for now...
Bryce, by the way, you're all right, guy. You're an all right young man. You really are.
And Rod, I could say the same for you, except you are much older.
He's just brainwashed by public education. He can't help it. Great show, guys.
All right, thank you, Rod. And to everybody, you can catch me on Opinion Nation on Saturdays at 11 o'clock a.m., on Finding Common Ground the hour before, and on Tuesdays you can hear our show from Saturday at 7 o'clock, I believe, Eastern Standard Time, p.m. But for now, I'm Bryce Robbins. This is Opinion Nation, and I will see you next week for another great show. Have a good week, everybody.
And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
What makes us Americans is our shared commitment to an ideal that all of us are created equal.
I, too, am America.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, easy and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.